To Irishmen, the following calm and dispassionate remarks addressed to Irishmen, which we find in an exchange, are full of food for deep and earnest thought. Every thinking and consequently loyal Irishman will subscribe to their truth, and those of thus far unthinking, if they would read them, would see that every Irishman who now allies himself with the enemies of our government is himself an enemy of Ireland. It was thought that all men on the earth Irishmen would be, for the very instinct of nationality, true to the only government in whose future strength and greatness the liberty of Ireland reposes. And so are all wise and true Irishmen, but unfortunately for the cause of their country, they are sadly in the minority here. We knew that from the experience of last and the few preceding years, when all the eloquence and logic of patriotism were lavished upon these people, and in vain. We saw the course which they would take marked out by a hypocritical and treasonable newspaper, which is directed by their priesthood, and which subsist on the miserable pittance on their superstition, to reason with them. They do not read, they will not hear, they cannot understand, but like the swine in the parable, rush down into the Sodom pool of putrid democracy and are choked. We will admonish disloyal Irishmen that the American heart is chilling toward the cause of their nationality and institutions. We will begin to say you have abandoned us in our disaster. We will also forget you in your distress. When you ask us to enter your churches, we will refuse to join the congregation of the enemies of freedom. When you ask us to send our children to your schools, we will refuse to have them instructed by a traitor. When you come before our legislation to ask the endowment of sectarian schools and asylums, female jails, and denominational colleges, we will reject your petitions. When you march the streets with the melancholy insignia of a lost nationality, I repeat, when you march the streets with the melancholy insignia of a lost nationality, we'll remember that when the lightning and exterminating war wrought their awful spectators on the sky, you were in confederacy with our enemy. You forsook us in the fiery ordeal of national regeneration. We will not care for your cause in the full splendors of our national glory. Do Irishmen ever ponder on these things? When carried away by excitement on the name of democracy, they go shrieking through the streets, shoulder to shoulder with the vowed enemies of the nations. And this is our ancestors speaking about how other ancestors left our lands of origin to go to the Americas for milk and honey and abandoned their land of origin. And that's what matters the most. If you're in a foreign land, we already did the Irish study in regards to all the Irish abandoning their lands, coming to America and immigrating through Ellis Island. And when you get naturalized as a U.S. citizen, you extinguish your nationality. You become white, which is a class caste system that the United States uses. And the South didn't agree on. We already went over that. But I just wanted to show you what the ancestors said. Do Irishmen ever ponder on these things? When carried away by excitement in the name of democracy, because they was all running to the Americas like everyone does. They think they're going to get the American dream, milk and honey, and they abandon their lands. Meanwhile, those de facto governments go back to your lands and take them over, and you're coming here naturalizing, extinguishing your nationality. The United States thinks that they can make a melting pot of people and make a generic nationality. One nationality. The organization of parties or association based upon nationality for political action must be deprecated on the ground that such organizations are antagonistic to the genius of our institutions, and because in the past they have led to unhappy dissensions and serious consequences. Of course, there can be no objection to these organizations of our naturalized fellow citizens, which are designed to keep alive the better memories of their fatherlands. On the other hand, they should be encouraged. The man who cherishes his mother is all the more likely to be a good husband and father. So the man who does homage the land of his birth while he declares his devotion to the land of his adoption and choice is much more likely to be a good citizen than one who entirely ignores the existence descendants of the foremother or the forefather. And that's what they do today. They call themselves white. They don't care about their nationality. They think their culture is American. They call themselves American. But you're not. Your bloodline is not American. If someone's mother and father was from Ireland and they moved to China and they had a baby in China and that baby was raised and it was Irish, they could not go around and say that they was Chinese just because they lived there their whole life. A bloodline is bloodline, sanguine. But when citizens, whether native born or naturalized, attempt to organize political parties based upon any factitious idea of race or nationality, the combination is vicious and dangerous in all its tendencies. It is of precisely the same narrow and bigoted character as the old Know-Nothing organization. With this view of the matter, we regret to notice several movements in various parts of the country to organize political parties based on such nonsensical and dangerous notions. One of these is an order of native-born citizens, secret in its organization, but undoubtedly intended for political influence in time. It is asserted that an attempt will be made at the convention of Irish-born citizens, soon to be held at Cleveland, to form a distinctive party with a view to secure a political importance with their numbers. Several attempts have been made by demagogues to mold the German element into a political party. Assumed leaders among our colorized citizens, particular in Philadelphia, are attempted to make a party of that race, but their nationality is Moorish American. See, other nations are still seeking themselves in the Americas because they've been messed up with the caste system, the white and black. All such combinations for political purposes are harmful. When a man rises to the performance of his duties as an American citizen, he should leave as unworthy of him the consideration of race, nativity, or profession in life. No, you're supposed to honor your foremothers and forefathers so that your days may be long upon the earth. They want you to forget and dishonor your foremothers and forefathers. It's time to go home to our land of origins, brothers and sisters, and receive economic rehabilitation. Repatriate back to your land of origin and declare and proclaim your nationality. Whether you're Irish, Scottish, Cornish, Kentish, Celtic, the man who forswears all foreign potentates and old associations of a political character in consideration of his new American citizenship, he should hold to his contract and on no account enter any combination inconsistent with the nature of his oath. Well, U.S. citizens, you ain't never gave no oath to no constitution or no allegiance to no United States citizen or nothing. You've never gave that. And without a nationality, though, you're still seen as stateless. That's a de facto generic nationality and citizenship. The American notion, as we call it, cannot claim any single origin. It is its glory, or should be, that it is made up by blending and fusing all other nationalities and forming a distinctively new nationality known as American. You can't do that. Every nationality must worship under their own vine and fig tree. Even though if it's nations inside of nations, you still must identify with nationality, not as a color. Its citizens should leave the feuds of other countries, their prejudices and political institutions behind, and devote its best effort to the establishment of a nation possessing the highest virtues of all. Yeah, right. It's all low wages. They don't respect human rights in the United States or nothing, but they say you are to devote your best effort to the establishment. No, that establishment supports its institutions on racial inequality and slavery. So far as any class of our fellow citizen, there should only be one class. Why is there high class, middle class, low class? So far as any class of our fellow citizens take any political action that will defeat the end. So far as un-American and hostile to the best interest of the Republic. No, that's not true, because within the Constitution, nationality is enshrined. And also within the Constitution, it says you have a right to a Republican form of government. So that's not contradicting. You declare and proclaim your nationality from your land of origin, from your foremothers and forefathers, not from no generic de facto naturalization citizenship. Colorable status, white and black. One of the demonstrations that we already did, the newspaper was speaking openly about Irish are the best peasants to be sent to America. They was being open about it. They was being used for labor, for back-breaking labor, and always have been. It said the Irish are the best peasants. We have picked the best peasants to go to America. You know what I mean, man? Just speaking crazy and out and open. Then another demonstration, it might be on the same one. It has Irish in the title of it. speaking about how all the Irish left Ireland and abandoned their lands. Then we got into where they was paying for charters and different stuff from England, the same people they said they was trying to get away from. So I wanted to give the message from the Irish ancestor that was calling out, in regards to our ancestors, straight leaving them behind when they said they was trying to regenerate a nation. And straight left them behind, and you abandon your land. At least they had their land there. They can make some potatoes and tomatoes, carrots, whatnot. I leave you in peace and love.